the table of shewbread. All right. Now let me see if this is the bit I'm looking for. Right, forget the bit I'm looking for, man. It slips me right now, but simply it says, here we go. So it starts at the 40. This is the first Maccabees, the first chapter, and the 40th verse, and it says, 41st verse, and it says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that they should be one people. Now that in itself is against the scriptures, all right? And that goes to the destroying of Jake, man. Because whenever Jake gets around these different heathens, they start to believe that they get seduced by their ways, man, and they start to follow the ways of the heathens, man. That's why the scripture says, "Follow not the way of the heathens," man. Right? But it goes on to say here, it says, "And everyone that should leave his law," what was the laws, right? The laws, statutes, commandments that's contained within the scriptures, man. Right? That he should leave his laws. Right, and it should, furthermore, it said everyone should leave his laws, and all the heathens agreed to according to the covenant. And yea, many of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. All right, so that was an excerpt in history going to show you Esau's nature, which is one of his principal natures, right, especially more so right now, is to go up against the Israelites, man, to go up against the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and destroy them as a whole people. Let me see. Let me show you that in the book of Psalms, the 83rd chapter. Alright, so this is the book of Psalms, the 83rd chapter, and the first verse on down says, "Keep not thou silent, O Lord, or Yahweh, and hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head, and they have taken crafty counsel against thy people." So now, you got it to where Esau pushes out his philosophies, and we're going to see that in the book of Revelations, the 12th chapter, right? That's one of the ways he's trying to destroy the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, all right? And they've taken crafty counsel against the anointed of the Most High, right? GMO foods, all right? What else do you have out there? Planned Parenthood, and all kind of different things that Esau's got to do what? To destroy the Israelites, man. Right? See, it ain't all about the different nations out there. This crafty council, the UN and so on and so forth, that's all set up to do one objective, man. To figure out ways that they could destroy the Israelites, man. HIV, all of that. That was all to destroy the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. Alright? It says, "For lo, thine enemies make a tumble. They that hate thee have lifted up their heads, and they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. And they have said, Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." So they've communed one against another, and this is not just Esau, this is all of the different nations. But see, Esau is the spearhead of it. He's the principal ones that put it together, because it's in his benefit to do so, because all the other nations are quiet before him, just like how it was in the days of Alexander the so-called Great. That's just how it is right now for Esau, to where you got it to where all of these different nations are quiet before him, man. All right, but see now you got it to where Scripture says, "Let us cut them off from being a people and a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." All right, and that's what they're trying to achieve. But the Lord's not going to allow that to happen. And the more, just like how it was in Egypt, the more hell, all right, the more hell that they put upon us, the more we're going to increase as a people, all right? In terms of number and so on and so forth, the more we're going to increase as a people. But not only that, if you see anything on, as you've seen on YouTube, as history showed us on YouTube, man, the more they come up against us on in taking down our accounts and that, man, all right? The more accounts you see popping up, man, the more they try to get certain guys to sell out. The more Mosai has it to where the Mosai has it to where more Jakes come into this truth, man. All right. So though now, it's not just a distraction in terms of food and all that. Hey, Esau straight up comes up against the truth of the Mosai, right? So it sets up guys like General Yohana and so on and so forth to counteract the truth itself, man. But see, if this objective was of men, all right, it would have come to naught. All right, but see, because it's an objective of the Mosai, the Mosai is going to have it to where this truth is going to come. It's going to prosper, man. It's going to do work, man. All right. So let me go now to the next precept that I quoted, which was the Book of Revelations, the 12th chapter. I'll start from the first verse. Alright, so this is the Book of Revelations, the 12th chapter, and the first verse. It says, and I wondered, and there appeared the great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, right, and the head of her, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Alright, so that represents the 12 tribes of Israel, man. Alright, that woman is Israel, man. Alright, that woman is talking about Israel, and the 12 stars there, it's the 12 tribes of Israel, right? So it says, and she being with child, cried, travailing, furthermore, she being with child, which is Yahushua, right? Travailed in birth, being paid to deliver it, right? Because before Yahushua was born, the king at the time, I believe it was Herod, all right, the king of the Romans, I believe it was Herod, off the top of my head. He knew through the history and through the prophecies, because Esau always goes into the scriptures, man. Because Esau knows he is Esau. All right, that's why they make a great effort to come up against the men at GMS, because we got the truth, man. All right, we're the ones with the truth, so they set up as much things that they can do to counteract the effect of the truth. Whatever they can do to stop this truth from coming out. All right. Nevertheless, at the time you had it to where I believe it was King Herod that was in power at the time, and he was killing off all the children, all right, that were of a certain age, and that age would have been that of which the Lord would have been at that time. So I believe it was about newborn babies up until about the age of 2, if I remember correctly. All right. And the Lord was having it, the king at the time was having it to where those babies were getting killed off, all right? But see, you had it to where, the angel came onto the man Joseph, who was the father of Yahushua, all right, by way of sex, not through no virgin birth, all right, not through no immaculate deception, all right. He had it to where, and really that all goes back to Babylonians, all right. That has its origin within Babylon, man, in which the Egyptians later took up that mantra, all right. And now you got the remix version of it, which the Catholic Church pushes out, man, all right. But nevertheless, they went out into the Africa. They fled into the interiors of Africa. All right, the man Joseph, his wife Mary, and his newborn baby Yahushua. All right, they fled out into there, and see that later became a stumbling block for the Jakes that you had out there that were in Bethlehem, because the scripture said pretty much the Lord was going to come from was it Bethlehem, all right? And And see, because it didn't coincide with the scriptures, or they perceived that it didn't coincide with the scriptures, they stumbled upon that. And that goes to prove one thing, man. All right, two things. One, the Lord can sit up and do anything He wants, and two, the Lord's looking for the elect. See, something like that would have been simple for the elect to understand, right? Because all they had to do was look at their recent history and know that at that time, when there was something happening, so the Lord would have had it to where His son Yahushua would have had to, he would have, yeah, He came out of Nazareth, but really He would have had to have fled into another country, right, for that period of time to pass, so right, so that He would survive and therefore have this word come out, man. All right. So back to the book of Revelations, the 12th chapter. She said, and she being with child cried, travailing in birth, pain to deliver it, right? And there appeared another wonder, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, all right? And that's Esau, man, all right? Matter of fact, I'll prove that's talking about Esau. More principally, it's talking about the what you know as NATO, man, all right? Starting first off with America, which America is the head of NATO, all right? Because I believe the first president they had, he's on. Well, America really, they pushing it, man. All right. See, if they got an agenda that they want to achieve, for instance, you had the Ebola, all right. Now the Ebola, the way they pushed it by way of NATO. You had it to where them NATO troops were going up into there. Now, what they could do with having NATO is they can have, the Americans can have plausible deniability, man. They can either send NATO in there or they can go up there as themselves. But see, if they go in there as NATO, they could appear as having good intentions. All right, they can go up into a country and they're saying they're offering what they know is humanitarian aid. All right, but really they could be the ones spreading the disease, and that's why you had it to where when the so-called Ebola crisis was going out there. All right, that's why you had it to where them different African nations were kicking the UN out of there. All right, because if you ever notice, man. Right, whenever the UN goes out there, they might be going out there to help the flu or malaria or something like that, man. Right, you see another whole new disease pop out. All right, they say that they HIV that they sent that out there to them African nations by way of the UN, man. All right, so go to the book of Revelations, the 17th chapter. Show you what I read. Was it? What did it say? It's that red dragon is talking about. So this is the book of Revelations, the 17th chapter. All right, starting first at the top, it says, and they came, one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, right, and talked with me, saying, come hither, and I will show unto thee the judgment, the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. All right, and he says, to the scriptures. All right, for instance, go to where you got the Christianity. Which Christianity, man? That's one of the ways this people has become destroyed. All right, and it all goes back to what the scripture says here, right? Of which whom the kings of the earth have committed fornications with, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of fornication. What's the wine of fornications? Them philosophies, man. Right, starting first with the government, the monetary system, and most of all, right, the Roman Catholic Church, right, which pushes forth that wine onto these people, that they be drunken, man. All right, they're so asleep that right now, and in the comfortability of being joined unto everybody, and being fooled into believing that the Lord was going to come and save everybody, and being fooled into believing that the Lord is all about peace, when really the Lord is about vengeance, of which, hey, man, pretty much after I get hit Revelations, the 18th chapter, I'm going to show you the vengeance the Lord's going to take up upon Esau, which we've already seen that in the book of Isaiah, the 63rd chapter. But however more the judgment the Lord's going to put upon Esau for pushing out those philosophies, all right, for pushing out them GMO foods, right, for trying to destroy the house of Israel, man, all right. So it says, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornications. So he carried me away in the spirit, right, into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, right, a red beast, the red dragon, if you will, a scarlet-colored beast. The dragon's a beast, man. All right. So is so is other animals beasts, man. All right. But really, it's not talking about an animal per se. All right, because we know these beasts, pursuant to the book of Daniel, the 7th chapter, were different nations that were going to come out of earth. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's crazy, man. All right. We know those different beasts were different nations and kingdoms that were going to come forth out of the earth, man. All right. But it says, so he carried me away in the spirit and in the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast. That woman's talking about America, all right? Full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns, right? And those 7 heads, right? I believe that goes, I believe that's talking about them. Because the 10 horns is the 10 common, what they know is the ECC, right? 10 common markets, right? Financial markets that Esau deals with, right? And this, in the 7 heads, man, those are them 7 principal countries that make up Esau. England and Germany and so on and so forth. And I can't remember him right off the top of my head like that. All right, but that's what it's talking about there, man. So it says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand. All right, philosophies again. By having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. All right, so that's talking about America, man. All right, and they were gonna push forth, and like I said, that red dragon was the red dragon was talking about Esau, the red beast, Esau's military and power structure, Esau's beast system, man. All right. So this is back in the book of Revelations, the 12th chapter, and the 3rd verse. It says, "And there appeared another wonder in the heavens, right? And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, right? And 7 crowns upon his head, right? And it says, and his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth," right? And it says, and the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered to devour her child as soon as it was born. And I've just explained that history to you, right? And it says, and she brought forth a man-child, which was Yahushua, all right? She brought forth a man-child who was to rule all the nations with a rod of iron. And the child was caught up unto the Most High, to his throne, and the woman fled into the wilderness, for her place was prepared for her of the Most High, that they should feed her there 1,203 days, 1,203 days, and there was war in heaven, right? Now that war is talking about the war that's going to play out, where, Yahushua and his angels and his chariots are actually going to fight Esau and his chariots, right? There was war in heaven, and the angels fought against the dragon. Furthermore, Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels and prevailed not. All right. So when this war plays out, they're gonna have what you know as World War III. All right, and you're gonna have it to where Esau's gonna fight against Esau to start off with. All right, but in so doing, that's when the Lord's gonna return, and you've heard it, ever repeated that if a situation will play down or go down or play out, that these elites or these different countries had to join their forces together to fight against an extraterrestrial being, that they would do so. Now, why would they make such a statement? Because Esau gets into these scriptures, man. Now, effectively, what the scripture's saying here, man, and what Esau wants to do is fight against Yahushua himself, the man of whom the Lord, right, used to create the earth, man, used to create the earth. See, they're going to go up with their so-called terrestrial technologies, but the Lord's going to come with his extraterrestrial technologies to where that the scripture says that he's not going to prevail, man. All right? See, Esau's not going to prevail, right, with these ICBM nuclear missiles, of which you've seen it on, you might have seen it on on different media outlets when they've tried to shoot or tried to shoot laser beams, and that's supposed to be like Esau's top technology. Because out here,
It's not that easy.
they'll have you believe that they're just going to use guns and so on and so forth. No, man, Esau's got all kind of different weapons, man. That's his blessing. He's got all kind of different weapons out there, man. All right, weapons that's going, that can stop you, from without him even having to be in close proximity, man. Right, satellites that can shoot you down from a distance, man. All right, all of that. He's got all of that. But see, he's even got more technology out there that they got out there within the skies, of which they set up their one of the reasons that they set up their so-called telescopes and so on and so forth. Some of those telescopes, and they had, like I said, you might have seen it in one of these media outlets, right? They had it to where one of them telescopes saw what looked like a laser at the chariot, man. And that whatever that they shot at the chariot moves at a great speed, man. We're talking like at light speed, man. All right, and they shot it at the chariot, and the chariot just moved out of the way. Now we're talking about when you see a dot across the screen, right? And it's looking up at the sky. We're not talking about that's a mile, man. We're talking about thousands and thousands of miles, man. And the chariot moved that fast, man, within the split of a second. So we're talking about beings and spiritual vessels that can move that fast, right? It's of an assurance that they're not going to prevail, man. And in fact, it's not even a question, all right? But it was just making the point, all right? It says there, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. Furthermore, and prevailed not, neither was, like I said, I've never had it to where that bell rang so many damn times, man. All right, but see, that's Esau for you. All right, we'll see how it gets on. But hey, maybe next time might have to move to a different location. But we'll see how it goes, man. All right, and it says there, and prevailed not, neither was there any place found any more in heaven. And it says, and the great dragon was cast. And it says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil,